All right, so, everyone's wondering about Iron Flame, right? The sequel to Fourth Wing.
Yeah, it's big shoes to fill.
Totally, and, like, who wants to commit to a whole book if it's going to be a flop?
Yeah, nobody.
Right. So we've been combing through reader reviews to see, what the buzz is all about.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? It seems like this book is hitting the spot for a wide range of readers.
Welcome to Book Peer, the podcast for every kind of reader. I'm Paul.
And I'm Alice. Join us as we explore the world of new releases, sharing our perspectives, and helping you find your next literary obsession. Back to reading. You don't have to be like this hardcore fantasy fan to get sucked in.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, because, like, some of the reviews are saying it could be a gateway
Yes.
to fantasy.
This gateway drug, exactly.
Especially if you want a story that grabs you and doesn't let go.
Fast-paced.
Yeah.
And Violet is back, of course.
Oh, and people are loving her even more.
Even more.
Yeah.
For her grit, for sticking to her values even when things get tough.
She's not a damsel in distress.
No.
That's for sure.
Mm.
But speaking of things getting tough,
Mm.
the romance in Iron Flame seems to be heating up.
Oh.
According to reviewers. At least some reviewers are even dropping those suggestive emojis.
Yes.
Chapter 48?
So everyone's whispering about it.
Seems to be.
But it's not just about steamy scenes, right? Iron Flame isn't afraid to go there with some heavier themes.
Absolutely.
Like readers are using words like heartbreaking, even poignant.
Yeah, it seems like you might need tissues
Oh, for sure.
to go through all the emotions.
Yeah. What's interesting is how the author dives into all these raw emotions like trust, forgiveness, and sacrifice.
Big ones.
Huge. Some readers are even left wondering if love is even enough
Is it enough?
to overcome all these obstacles.
Right.
Wow. So remember how much we loved the dragon stuff in Fourth Wing?
Oh, yeah.
Apparently Iron Flame kicks that up a notch.
Oh, it does.
They even have personalities now.
I know, it's amazing.
It's really cool how the author has built on this world.
World building is phenomenal.
Right. We're not just getting action, but like getting inside the minds of
Yeah.
these creatures and their motivations. It's like we're getting a dragon's eye view of the story now.
Which is pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome.
But, it's not just the dragons, this attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
The world itself seems so much richer and nuanced.
More complex.
Yeah, there are hints of, like, political stuff happening, alliances shifting.
Yeah.
This world that's, like, teetering on the edge.
Is this going to happen?
It's not all just, like, personal drama and these steamy encounters.
Right.
But there's this epic scope brewing in the background.
Yes, and it just adds another whole layer of intrigue.
For sure. So much intrigue. Like, it's almost like watching a play. You know,
Okay.
where you've got this personal drama unfolding on stage,
Yeah.
but there's, like, a storm raging outside,
Yeah. I like that.
threatening to engulf them all.
Yeah. Good analogy.
Thanks. So it paints a picture of this atmosphere in Iron Flame,
Right.
right? These intense relationships, but this looming danger.
Uh-huh.
Uncertainty on, like, a grander scale.
Yeah. You've got both.
Yeah. And that's where pacing comes in.
Mm.
Some readers are saying that Iron Flame is a little slower.
Then Fourth Wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people are saying that.
But others argue that it makes for, like, a more immersive experience.
Yeah, because you get time to like really understand the characters,
Yeah.
their motivations, and like appreciate this nuanced world.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes you do need to slow down to savor the details.
you do.
Especially when they're as rich and, like, well-crafted as they seem to be in Iron Flame.
Absolutely. And it's almost like the difference between like watching a movie and reading a book.
Interesting.
Yeah, like a movie rushes you through everything, but a book lets you linger
Linger, yeah.
and absorb it all.
Yeah. And for the sound of these reviews, Iron Flame is the kind of book that invites you to get lost.
For sure.
It's not just like a quick thrill ride. It's an experience.
It's an experience.
It stays with you,
Oh, yeah.
Makes you think, maybe even keeps you up at night.
Possibly. Yeah.
And what's so cool is how readers are responding to this emotional depth.
Right.
They're not just entertained. They're moved, challenged,
Yeah.
left wanting more.
Yeah, they're engaged.
So, based on all these reviews, who do you think this book is really for?
That is a great question. I think Iron Flame honestly has broad appeal.
Okay.
Anyone who enjoyed Fourth Wing
I agree.
will definitely find a lot to love.
For sure.
But I also think it could appeal to those who enjoy fantasy stories that kind of go beyond the typical tropes.
Oh, interesting.
It's not just dragons and battles, it's about the human heart.
Yeah.
The complexity of relationships and, like, the choices we make when faced with impossible odds.
Those choices can be pretty heartbreaking.
They can be heartbreaking, but there's also this sense of hope,
Okay.
of resilience that shines through.
And let's not forget the mystery.
A mystery.
All this buzz about Chapter 48, but, like, nobody's actually saying what happens.
Right.
It's like they made a pact to keep this secret.
Yeah, a little secret society.
Which just makes it even more tantalizing.
It does.
Okay, now I'm really starting to feel that need to know. Itch. No,
yeah.
me too. Yeah,
Wow.
it's like this shared mystery, right? Like a secret society, you've read it and are bound by, like, what they know.
And we're like the outsiders.
Yeah, exactly.
But okay, even without knowing the specifics of Chapter 48, it's clear that this book takes you on an emotional roller coaster.
It does.
We talked about those heartbreaking moments, and the reviews really emphasize the intensity of the feelings.
Yeah, and I think a big part of why those moments resonate so deeply is because of the foundation laid in Fourth Wing, right? We already have this strong connection to the characters.
Yeah, so it hits us even harder.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
when you watch a friend go through something difficult, you feel their pain more acutely because you care about them.
Yeah, and it sounds like the author really puts these characters through the ringer.
Oh, they go through it.
There are mentions of betrayal, sacrifice, like gut-wrenching decisions that test the limits.
Everything's tested.
Yeah, of loyalty and love.
Yeah.
And these themes are amplified by the fact that this world is like on the brink of war.
It's not just personal struggles. There's this sense that everything is at stake.
Oh, yeah. The political intrigue that was kind of simmering in Fourth Wing is boiling over.
Oh, wow.
In this one, alliances are shifting, secrets are revealed,
Oh, my God.
and the characters are caught in the crossfire.
So it adds another layer of tension
For sure.
to an already tense story.
Yeah, how can anyone even think about romance
Right.
with so much going on?
With chaos and uncertainty swirling around them.
Right.
But that's the beauty of it, right? Even in, like, the darkest of times, human connection,
Yeah.
romantic or not,
Yeah.
can be a source of
Source of hope.
and it seems like Violet and Zayden's relationship is front and center
Oh, it is.
in Iron Flame.
Yeah.
The reviews are hinting at some developments there.
Yeah, their bond continues to be like this driving force, but it's evolving, you know?
Okay.
They're facing new challenges, both individually and as a couple, and it forces them to confront some difficult truths about themselves and what they're willing to sacrifice for each other.
Which brings us back to those heart-wrenching moments
Right.
that readers are talking about.
Yeah.
It sounds like love isn't always enough to conquer all,
Yeah.
especially in this harsh world the author created.
It's a tough world.
But that's what makes those moments of connection,
Yeah.
of tenderness, even more powerful.
They shine brighter
Right.
against the backdrop of darkness.
And uncertainty, reminding us what's worth fighting for.
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of fighting,
Uh-oh.
what about those epic dragon battles?
Oh, they're there.
They're there.
They're there. The author doesn't skimp on the action.
Okay, good. I was worried for a second.
Don't worry. Want to check out the book for yourself? The link's in the description.
From what we're gathering, the scenes are even more vivid
More intense.
than in Fourth Wing.
Oh, yeah.
And the author has brought these creatures to life in a whole new way,
Yeah.
giving them personalities and motivations.
It's amazing.
I love that. It's like they become characters in their own right,
They do.
not just these mythical beasts.
And their bond with their writers is like even more profound.
Wow, so that adds another dimension
Yeah,
to those action sequences.
for sure.
It sounds like the author has struck a really compelling balance between the personal and, like, the epic scope,
Yeah.
right? You're invested in these characters and their relationships, but you're also caught up in this larger conflict
Yes.
that could reshape their world.
Yeah. A classic fantasy formula, but executed with so much skill
Yeah.
and heart that it feels fresh.
So for someone who loved Fourth Wing,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say are the key elements
Oh, good question.
that Iron Flame expands on?
Well, for starters, the character development is taken to a whole new level. We're seeing these characters grapple with their pasts, confront their fears,
Wow.
make difficult choices that have lasting consequences.
It sounds like Violet's going through some serious growth.
Oh, she is. She's pushed to her absolute limits physically and emotionally, and it forces her to question everything she thought she knew about herself and her place in the world.
That's got to be relatable for a lot of readers,
Oh, I think so.
especially those who are navigating their own challenges and uncertainties.
Yeah, there's something very human about her struggle, even though she's in this fantastical world.
And speaking of the world,
Yeah.
it sounds like the author expanded on the world building too.
Oh, yeah, the world feels so much richer and more immersive. We're getting glimpses of new locations, learning more about the history and culture of this realm,
Wow.
and seeing the impact of this impending war on, like, everyday life.
So it's like the author is inviting us deeper in
Deeper
and
in.
allowing us to experience it from these different perspectives
Yeah.
and to understand the nuances of its complexities.
Exactly. And that's what makes for great fantasy.
Yeah.
When you feel transported to another world, when you believe in the characters and their struggles, and you find yourself, like, caring about the fate of this fictional realm as if it were your own.
It's that immersion.
Yeah.
That keeps you turning the pages.
It keeps you hooked.
Yeah. Eager to discover what happens next.
Yeah, and Iron Flame delivers on all fronts.
It does.
And the best part is it leaves you wanting more.
There's more.
There's more. We're only 2 books into this trilogy.
Oh, sorry.
And the anticipation for the final installment is palpable.
So even though we're talking about a sequel,
Yeah.
it sounds like this book stands on its own.
It does. It does. While reading Fourth Wing enhances the experience, Iron Flame is a fully realized story with its own unique arc, its own emotional resonance.
So even if someone was hesitant about jumping into a series midway through,
Yeah.
you'd encourage them to give Iron Flame a chance.
Oh, absolutely. It's a book that will reward you whether you're familiar with the world and characters or not.
I'm sensing a theme here.
What's that?
It seems like Iron Flame offers something for everyone.
It does.
You've got the action, the romance, the political intrigue.
The emotional depth.
Yeah, it's like a multi-course meal for your imagination.
I like that analogy.
Thanks.
And to continue the food metaphor, I'd say Iron Flame is a dish that's both spicy and sweet, savory, and satisfying.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
It leaves you full, but
Yeah.
wanting more.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe by the time we get to the next book,
Yeah.
the mystery of Chapter 48 will finally be revealed.
Maybe, but even if it's not, I have a feeling Onyx Storm will have its own secrets,
Oh, really?
its own heart-stopping moments, and its own unique way of captivating our imaginations.
Yeah, it really seems like Iron Flame is tapping into our need for stories, you know?
Yeah, for connection, for escape.
Especially in a world that can feel so overwhelming at times.
It can be a lot, you know?
Yeah. So we can shut out the noise
Tune it out.
and lose ourselves in these characters.
Yeah, in their lives, their struggles.
And Iron Flame doesn't shy away from those raw emotions.
It doesn't.
We talked about the heartbreak, the sacrifice, but
Yeah.
what about the joy? Are there any, like, lighter moments?
Oh, there are.
Okay, good.
Several readers mentioned the banter.
Oh, the band.
Especially between Violet and her dragon.
I love that.
Yeah, the author balances those intense moments with humor,
Oh, that's good.
which makes it so engaging.
It's like a reminder that even when things are dark, there's still room for laughter,
Right.
connection, those sparks of joy.
Yeah, those little moments.
And it shows how well-rounded the characters are.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just there to move the plot along.
Right, they're individuals.
With quirks.
Yeah.
You know,
They feel real.
speaking of relatable, one thing that jumped out at me from these reviews is this theme of identity.
Oh, yeah.
Violet is constantly being tested, forced to confront who she is and what she stands for.
That's right. That struggle for self-discovery.
It's powerful.
It's powerful. She's navigating this world that tries to define her, put her in a box.
But she pushes back.
Oh, yeah. She forges her own path.
It's like she's saying, I refuse to be labeled.
Yeah.
I define myself.
On her own terms.
And that's got to resonate with a lot of readers.
Oh, especially younger readers trying to find their place.
It's that classic coming-of-age story,
It is.
but with dragons.
That's dragons.
And political intrigue.
Exactly. A potent combination.
So you get the excitement, the escapism of fantasy,
Uh-huh.
but you're also exploring these universal themes.
Identity, belonging.
The courage to be yourself.
Right.
Iron Flame is more than just a fun read then.
It is.
It's a story that can spark conversations,
Yeah.
make you think about your own life.
About your choices.
And that's what makes a book truly great.
It is.
When it entertains, but also challenges you, moves you.
Stays with you.
Yeah,
And Iron Flame seems to have achieved that.
it does. So as we wrap up,
Yeah.
what's the one takeaway you want listeners to remember?
I want them to remember that this is a book that offers something for everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah, whether you're a fan of fantasy romance action,
Or just a good story.
a good story, Iron Flame has something to offer.
It's a book that will make you laugh, cry, and maybe even stay up all night.
Turning those pages.
It's a book that will make you think and feel and question.
Absolutely.
It's a book that will stay with you long after you've finished reading.
And most importantly, it's a book that reminds us of the power of stories
Okay.
to connect us, inspire us, and help us make sense of the world.
Beautifully said. So, to everyone listening,
Yes?
we encourage you to check out Iron Flame
Yes.
and discover its magic.
Happy reading! Enjoyed this episode of Book Peer? Share it with your fellow bookworms, and be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. We appreciate your support and can't wait to share more book recommendations with you soon.